It is at this point I would like to remind that you should always be aware of any authority, institution, government, church, religion, anyone who is in position of any authority that tells you that you should not read something in particular, or you should not look at a set of facts or a particular book. Because usually anyone in authority who doesn't want you to read something in particular must have something to hide. Because the intellectual mind of the human being cannot grow if it is not allowed to look at all of the facts. We are told by Christianity that we're not to have anything to do with astrology, because that is evil and of the devil. Until we begin to look at the Old Testament with an academic eye, and not being swayed by religious conviction, but let's look at the actual Old Testament in the language that it was written in. And we're going to find that the Old Testament, like the New Testament, is nothing more than the entire story of the zodiac. We have seen the New Testament is nothing more than astrology and sun worship. Now we see that the Old Testament is going to be nothing more than astrology. And one of the most important points that we want to bring out, one interesting point that we might bring out, is that the Hebrews, when they were in Egypt, were of course subject to the religion of Egypt. And at that time, Isis, spell I-S-I-S, Isis, the female personification of wisdom, from whence, of course, we get Mary in the Catholic Church, the Mother of God. Isis was the female personification of wisdom, spelled, as I said, I-S-I-S. Later on, with the coming of Pharaoh Akhenaten, or Akhenaten, Pharaoh Akhenaten changed the worship in Egypt from Isis to Amun-Ra, or Amun-Ra. Of course, this is where we get the term Ra, R-A, or R-A-Y, for sun ray. So Amun-Ra became the chief deity of Egypt. Now, once the Hebrews left out of Egypt and went north into Palestine, they found a new god there of the Canaanites, a god that is referred to as the Ugaritic god of the Middle East. That god was El, or the planet Saturn. The Hebrews then picked up the worship of the planet Saturn, or El, the Ugaritic god, and combining the Isis worship with the Amun-Ra worship, and lastly with the El, Saturn, or the god El, they formulate their new land based on the three concepts of God: Isis, Ra, El, or Israel, I-S-R-A-E-L.